Everyone you meet has a story all their own. You are different from me, but we don't have to stand alone. People first.
Self-determination and building social capital.
Next, I want to say happy birthday, SABE, and thank you to Chester Finn for his leadership. I'd like to thank Carl Calkins and Mike Waymeyer for this wonderful opportunity to talk with you all. Where are they? But I do appreciate being here. And I'd like to introduce my two co-presenters. Nancy Ward, who I'm sure you all know is the information coordinator for the Medicaid reference desk. And Liz Weintraub, who works at CQL. About 5 years ago, Liz had the wonderful opportunity of actually working in the office next to me. She wised up, moved out of the office, got married, and now lives 60 miles away, but still works for us. I want to talk to you about social capital, and I want to do it and make it as simple as possible. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about last night, okay? And I have my props here to help us think about last night. And what strikes me was the amount of energy in the room, tremendous amount of energy. Why did you all have a great time? I think there were two reasons. Number one, did you all have friends in the room? Yeah. You all had friends, but and there's a more important reason. And I'd like to demonstrate the reason right now. Take a look at the people at the table you're sitting with. I'll bet you're sitting with some friends, right? How about the people that you don't know? They might not be your friends. So look at somebody that you don't know, and I want you to ask a question. Do you trust that person? Why? Because we're all here together for the same reason. The important point about social capital is that you trust a whole group of people because you trust the people that your friends trust. Okay? You trust the people that your friends trust. And that's so vitally important. So we want to take a look at people who are our friends, and then maybe the people who are not your friends, but the people you trust anyway. Now, let's think about the opposite of having friends and not being able to trust anyone. How does that make you feel? Sad, lousy, lonely, angry, and where do people live when they don't have friends and they don't have any trust? They live in the street, they live in institutions, they live away from us, okay? So what we want to make sure is that nobody feels left out, everybody feels part of it, nobody's excluded, everybody's included. Everybody has the chance to say, I can make a friend, and I trust the people who are friends of my friends. So what I'd like to do is just use a few slides, and I'm not sure how I do this here. Can we bring that up? It's up, okay. But I can't see it. And it's not on here. So we'll go to this. Okay. So you all just tell me if it changes. I can't see the screen. Okay, it changed. What is social capital? Social capital, as Commissioner Lewis said, is power. It is social power. You've got power. You've got friends and you've got allies. You've got people that you can trust, and that may be the key. Can you trust those people? More importantly, social capital means you're connected to people that you can help. And I really think for self-advocates, helping others is terribly important. It's very meaningful. We all want to help other people. It makes them feel better, it makes us feel better, and it increases trust. The one thing about the service delivery system is that you may get services, but you don't necessarily get the chance to give back. And what we want to do is talk about giving back. Being connected to other people can help you, and you can get connected to other people. We change? Okay. Social capital is terribly important for self-determination. Social capital is power. And what do you have if you have power? You get to do what? Have fun? Have fun. Lead, make choices, make decisions. So with power, you get self-determination, the opportunity to make choices, decisions, and add control to your life. Social capital is also important because all the studies that have been done show that if you have friends and social capital, you're going to be healthier, happier, better connected in the community, and better able to solve problems. Think about what happens when you don't have friends and you can't trust people around you. What are you going to feel? You're going to feel alone. You're going to feel afraid, depressed, sad, sick, and you're not going to have any fun. You know what that makes you? Sick. You don't feel good. So what we know is that people that have lots of friends and lots of respect actually have more fun and are healthier than other people. You have more connections in the community. And what happens if you have more friends and more connections in the community? You're happy and you have more people to help you solve problems. We all get to solve problems together. So I'm going to see if we can cue up a short video and see if we can get this. There we go.
Social capital. What is that? Social capital has nothing to do with geography. Social capital has nothing to do with money. Social capital is trusting relationships that allow you to support one another. Social capital promotes quality of life. It's what you build up when you're part of a trusting community. Trust allows you to find and work with people in different social networks. All relationships add to our quality of life. Everyone needs to have relationships with all kinds of people. Trusting relationships add opportunities and possibilities in our lives.
Hello, Susan? My basement is flooding. Do you know anyone who has a pump?
I don't know anyone with a pump.
Ralph, do you have a pump?
No, I don't.
Linda, do you know anyone with a pump?
I know someone with a pump.
Why do you have so many bicycles?
I fix bicycles for my neighbors.
I work in a bicycle shop and they need a repair person. Would you be interested?
Yes.
Building social capital, creating trusting relationships and opportunities to help others in our community, improves the quality of life for all of us. Jobs. spiritual life, transportation, all are enhanced when we are part of a community. Supporting one another, helping to solve problems together. That is social capital.
Good cartoon, good cartoon. What I'd like to do now is, if I can figure out how to go to the next, we'll go backwards. There we go. Nancy, Liz, and I met a while back, and we talked about the social capital, and they decided there were 4 things that they'd like to share with you. So we're going to have a discussion on the importance of friendships, having people you trust, having opportunities to help other people, and being connected to other people who can help you. And I don't know, Nancy and Liz, whether you want to each read them off or we take them one at a time.
Why are friendships important? I'm really excited to be here with Nancy because Nancy is one of my true friends. We're not just here because she's another Self-Advocate. She is a true good friend to me. And I just wanted to talk about my friend that that came from a pay friendship. When I was living in New Jersey, she was my staff, and then she left the agency that I got services from, and she today, she lives in New Jersey, so I don't get to see her very often, but we're truly good friends, and I talked to her even last week about this presentation.
Okay, the next question that we came up with is why it's important to have people you trust. And I'm going to give you an example about SABE, because we're at SABE. When we first started SABE, I was one of the officers, and I asked the other officers and the advisors to go outside because I was having trouble concentrating and trying to focus on what we were supposed to be focusing on. We were making an important money decision, and somebody wanted to have bylaws. Somebody thought that it was time for SABE to do bylaws. And so we went out, talked, decided how I was going to handle this, came back in the room, and everybody was upset. And I'm going, well, what's wrong with you guys? And what they told me was that they thought that we went out there because there wasn't the trust built up that 20 years later we have. And they thought we were making changing the money decision that they had already voted on. And so trust is very important.
One of the things I wanted to talk about trust is that
No, you're doing.
about helping others.
Yeah. So we're going back and forth, and then I'll do the last one.
Helping others. When I was living in, my husband and I have a lot of friends in the community that aren't people with disabilities, and we're really proud of that because we can help each other. And one of the things my mom is quite sick these days, and my father could say, well, because Liz has a disability, all she can do is keep her company. And that's fine, and I love doing that. But I also would like to help her. And on Wednesday, there was an emergency that she really needed help with, and I just pitched in. It wasn't that Liz had a disability, who would help your mother. I just was there. And that made me feel really proud.
And the last one is the importance of being connected to people who can help you. And why I think this one is really important is because I think that my disability has offered me many opportunities to meet many different people. And because I've met many different people, I've been able to do many different things and to help the self-advocacy movement grow. And I wanted to share one thing really quickly about also why I think it's important of being connected. And this goes throughout the whole thing. But I had a friend who lived in an institution, and she didn't speak. And so I started working with her, and eventually we became friends. And we became friends. And so one of the things that's really important to me about having friendship is that you don't have paid friends. I don't think paid friends can be your friend. And I'm trying to rush too fast, is what my problem is. I don't think paid friends can be your true friends. And so what I did is I wrote her this poem about friendship, because it's hard for me to talk in words, and that made it a lot easier for me. And then when Sally moved into the group home, I helped her do that. And she got to pick her own room. And for the first time in her life, she was able to do that. And then, for some reason, her life changed. And she, staff wouldn't let us see her anymore. And so we had to fight to be able to get to see her. And I just think that having compassion and being able to support each other is very important. And it means a lot. SABE means a lot to me. And
I want to talk about last night. Last night, one of my favorite quotes that when I was are you okay? What?
go.
one of my favorite quotes is, to be a friend is to have one. And I really believe that very strongly, that if I want to be a friend, I need to be a friend to somebody. And if I'm not a friend, then someone doesn't need to be a friend to me. And on last night, as I was talking to a friend, and I won't name the name, but she was, we were talking about some her stuff, and I was thinking to myself, that's what friendship is all about, that just sitting there and talking to her. And maybe we not even talk. Maybe we just, maybe she just needed me to listen. Maybe we just sit in silence and hold hands. Whatever she needed, I was there.
And then I wanted to share one last thing. And that is that a lot of people say, like Liz was saying, because we have disabilities, that we can't support somebody. Well, I think that support is two ways. And just because goes both ways. Just because we don't drive doesn't mean that we don't have something else to offer. Like we could babysit for somebody's kids. And so I think that just because we have a disability, we should be allowed, like Jim was saying, to have that risk. One of the things that makes me really angry is when people don't allow us the chance to take risks because we have a disability, so we have to be protected. And one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys that really illustrates this, and you guys don't have to answer this question, but it's just something to think about. How many people in this room have bounced a check? And when you make a mistake, you know, this much of a big deal's made about it. But when a person with a disability makes that same mistake, we get our checkbooks taken away because we don't understand how to balance our checkbooks. So that's another example that I wanted to share with you guys.